Hello everyone! Today we will be talking about this little device which I spent way too much of my time making. This is a simple, battery-operated, rechargeable USB keyboard. You could just turn this on and you can start playing. It's not that great and it's not that loud. I'm not even completely sure if you could hear that, but it still works. So this is battery operated. It has this. I precariously mounted this 400 milliamp hour single cell LiPo battery over here that is just waiting to explode at any moment as soon as I stab a sharp object directly into it. But it's not that safe. It isn't because of that exposed lipo. It is protected electrically because this is the kind with the built-in protection circuit. But I still wouldn't trust this thing to sit around in a backpack or something. I also put screw terminals on the front here. These were mostly just used during the development stage. And I also have this little headphone jack to use. It's a little bit louder than the buzzer, and it doesn't allow you to disturb anybody. And this gigantic diode over here is also for the screw terminals, just in case I put it backwards. It doesn't actually have to be this big. It probably only consumes a couple milliamps, and this thing's probably rated for several amps. But this one's the only Schottky diode that I could quickly find, so that's what I used. And then this green LED, it's one of these newfangled gallium nitride that's a lot brighter than the old gallium phosphide ones, even though they look the same. And this one's just being driven through a 5.1 kilo ohm resistor or something. And yeah, I also have this little green PCB over here that you can barely see. This is a lithium battery charger that I scavenged out of an old Sonic toothbrush, and it's just connected to this USB, micro USB connector that I also got from the exact same toothbrush. And it just allows for easier charging. It allows you to charge it out of something other than a lab bench power supply, which I do not have. And also, notice all these gray or blue boxes, each with a little golden screw in it. These are the tuners. If you were to stick a small screwdriver in there and start twisting, then you would be able to change the frequency of the tones played. And each one of these is the variable resistor for several. For 555 oscillators, they're just buried under that mess of spaghetti. And I think it's time we switch over from the real thing to the somewhat simplified schematic. So each one of these units is one of the 555 oscillators. I'm just using a 330 ohm resistor for this main resistor. It's with the case of one of them. Where's my light? Well, my light's not working, but it's just that little resistor under there that you probably can't even see. It's focusing on a different spot for some reason, but hopefully you can see it under there. And there are 5 of them. And then this is the 10 kilo ohm potentiometer, so it's just one of these. It's a 10 kilo ohm trimmer that's used for tuning. And then I have a 100 nanofarad capacitor between pins 1 and 2 of each of them that you would have no chance seeing. Actually, you can see it right over there hiding behind that little wire. If we just move that wire out of the way, then you should be able to clearly see a little orange blob, and that is the capacitor for one of the oscillators. And also, you might have seen that I've done a dirty little trick over here with this 555 timer. One moment, please, so I can demonstrate this. Okay, so I've got all the supplies that I need, some 8-pin chips over here. These aren't actually 555 timers, they're just 8-pin chips that look like them. And I got a 8-pin socket, which is the socket that it's designed for, and a 6-pin socket. So the way that I did it, I had one of these little 5x7 lovely red perf boards, and I put 5 of these sockets down. But then, once I reached the end, I didn't have enough space for one of these, so I did a really dirty trick over here. The 555 only needs 6 of its pins to operate as an oscillator instead of all 8. So what I decided to do was to put the 555 timer in like this, So all of the 6 pins that are connected, that need to be an oscillator, are all connected, but the 2 pins that don't need to be connected in order for it to act as an oscillator are still hanging off. And then this little oscillator is just hanging off on the bottom like that. It's not approved by any sort of electronics, but it will work for a long time to come. It's just the crazy little dirty trick that I did over here that you can see over there. The pins of this 555 chip are just dangling off. They're flapping around in the breeze, as EEV blog would say. I wish this thing could be a little louder. I didn't bother using a proper amplifier, just a little transistor over here, a BC547 BJT to drive the buzzer, and so it isn't very loud. I hope you can hear that, but on the camera, the clicks of the buttons are probably even louder than the sound of the buzzer. In real life, the buzzer is a little bit louder, but still, it's not that great. Anyway, that's about all I have to say for my little battery-operated keyboard.